we're about to start the car for the first time. We got some little things we'll fix here in the next day or so. What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're gonna do a follow-up video on Ben's Supra. There's been a couple of months of downtime. We haven't been able to work on it so much, but we're getting back to it. We were able to mount the oil filter a while back, but then we weren't able to do the oil cooler till recently. So that got mounted, and then we did some plumbing from the oil block that comes off the block that has in and out for oil going over here. Back over here to the cooler, back in the block. Then we did some plumbing with all matching XRP Pro Plus crimp hoses and fittings to all the rest of everything, including turbo boost and vacuum lines over here. We have 1 or 2 remaining hoses to make, which we want to convert the brake booster to being an AN line right here. We're getting a different style one-way valve here. We need to do that, and then if we can find the sufficient one that can go to like a -6 AN, which would be pretty cool. So we want to do that, and then we were able to even do catch can, crank breather box hoses, and down here we did dash 4 to connect these 2 gates together and then control the gates over here from the boost solenoid. But now we want to make the engine bay look even better, so the next thing would be powder coat. So we're going to take stuff out that's going to get powder coated or ceramic coated. So I think he's going to ceramic coat dump tubes, downpipe, and rear housing. That's what we agreed to. And then this would be powder coated the front of the turbo, crank breather, some charge piping. There's 3-4 pieces, and then that might be it that we were gonna kind of do the powder coat, and we're gonna do the same satin black that he did these in. So it kind of matches where it's like black and red. There's a little bit of silver like right here, and basically those hoses where the fire sleeve is to protect them. That is kind of where the engine bay's at. We did get some rims for him, but they're not there. He got works in their 19s, but we're gonna wait till the tires are here. And tires have been kind of hard to get this year. Everything's been hard to get this year. That's why we've been like back and forth on this project. So as soon as we take that stuff to powder coat, the next step would be install his brakes. He has a big brake kit, the Brembo, I think it's 14 point something inch brake kit. It's like massive. We're gonna install that, and then hopefully the tires will get here because they ship, so we'll get the tires by the time maybe we're back from FD St. Louis. We would install the rims, and then the car can be pretty close to being ready to wire. So that's like the last step of this build, is wire the engine bay, and we've been waiting for a while from a wiring guy, and it's just taking a while, so we might have to switch that, or we were even thinking of building it ourselves, but it's very time consuming. We've wired cars before, but it takes a lot of time, so we haven't decided if we're gonna do that yet or not. Yep, that's kind of all the details. There's some little things that still need to be installed, but I think this intake manifold will come off one more time. Check under there, because we got 1 vacuum hose down there, and then we'll do that when all the stuff's back from powder coat. Inside, we still have to install the seats, but since it was brand new reupholstered leather, we were kind of waiting on that, because we don't want to get dust from the shop. And then we had got this new leather shift boot made, so that came out pretty good in the stock center console piece, because this is a 98, 97 center console piece where it's like the different color gray, which they don't make anymore. So instead of buying a new one that would have came with a new leather boot, it would have been like the off color, a little bit lighter. So we had to just redo that one. We might put the hood back on, but that's the update for this car for right now. Now we're off to powder coat. We'll show you guys as soon as we have more details. We are here with Ben's Supra. It's been a while since you guys have seen the Supra. One of the reasons we were waiting on one key part, and it was a wire harness. We are working with a company, and we're going to make more of these harnesses, but even getting this one was taking a long time. We still have to heat shrink that down because we were just fitting it in today. But otherwise, it utilizes stock location where it has a stock boot. I don't know why I said bolt. I think it's because I saw that really nice ARP 10 point down there. Got distracted. There's a lot of stainless hardware on this car. Look at that 12 point. ARP 12 point, yeah. They're kind of everywhere on this car. So right here, we're gonna shrink this down, but we haven't decided where we're going to do that yet because we're test fitting it. But custom mil-spec harness with ray chem and just enough room to hide it everywhere. So it's kind of underneath the manifold. You only see where the injector clips are and maybe cam sensor and a couple other things. But it's a direct plug in to, there's gonna be a couple ECU choices obviously, because not everyone's gonna run the same ECU, but all your stock cluster and all that stuff's still gonna be working, functioning. You'll be able to put your tune in there for all you guys that are going race car only, and it's off-road use only, for track use only of course, but you'll be able to source your harness. Hopefully we'll be able to have it out in about, it's probably gonna take 3 months, but I was hoping beginning of next year, sometime in like February, but it probably won't come that quickly. But this is the first one, so we're pretty excited. Hey, look at this. That is way too beautiful. Such a beautiful seat. It'd be cool if every car we got to refurbish like this. So anyways, that one is refurbished, and Ben put a new one of these in, and this. Man, that's clean. Mark was doing like a pressure test on coolant system, found one fitting loose, so he's tightening it. We're about to do the startup. Probably won't happen today because it's the end of the day on Friday. We're not gonna stay over the weekend to do this, but Monday I bet you this is running. Still have to do the front bumper, front lip, headlights like we had talked about, but it's close. And we're not gonna put the passenger seat in yet because we gotta start it first. After it's running and we know we're not getting back in there where the Pro AFI is down there, everything checks out, then we'll put the passenger seat in, put the last piece of this sill right there in. Alright guys, we're about to start the car for the first time. Me and Mark have been like troubleshooting all the wiring, testing all the sensors. We're gonna start it. We got oil pressure, now we're gonna start this. Wow, that was a really smooth first startup. Good job, Supra. Good job, people. We barely got it maybe halfway to temperature, but we're gonna just check oil levels, all the levels, just so we're not gonna burn any pumps up or whatever. That's why we were adding a little bit more power steering fluid. Then he's adding a little oil because we were right in the middle of the two lines, but we would wanna be at the top just so we don't mess anything up. This morning we had to like set fuel pressure regulator and then check through all the sensors and make sure they're reading right. We had to change one wire so far. We're probably gonna have to change a second wire because this is a custom harness. This is kind of typical that it will happen, but other than that, it just started and ran, so majority of everything is reading properly. We would like it to run until it's hot enough to turn the fans on and hot enough to open the thermostat, or both at the same time or similar time. We're gonna run it again here in a second once we are happy with the oil level and power steering level. You guys remember Mitch, right?
Big smiles.
Mitch talks a lot more than Mar.
A little bit.
Yeah, that wasn't hard to get Mitch to say anything. He's
Make
like,
a wish, Mitch. Make a wish.
Yeah, he's also a 2J enthusiast. He has the IS 300 that he's building.
Yep, big power boys.
Yeah, we did build the motor. He's not done with the build because he keeps spending too much money on it, so he's putting all the right parts. But he's going for 700 probably. Fuel pressure, oil pressure, mat pressure, coolant, air temp. We got a ways to go with coolant temp. If we're at 48 Celsius, we need to be more at 82 Celsius. So I'm gonna do this right now. And I think we need to put a resistor in the tachometer wire. You guys see it flickering around back there? Yeah, it heard me say that. Look, now it holds steady, but it was kind of flickering a little bit. Oil level is not hooked up anymore, so we'll probably delete that. ABS though is hooked up. So I don't know why that's doing that. I gotta look into that. But we do have a big brake kit on this car and a lot bigger wheels and tires. I might disable the ABS. We gotta see, oh, here we go. See that flickering a little bit? So that means it needs a resistor more likely than not. It's probably it needs a resistor because it's getting a little bit more voltage than it would like to see. So we're getting close. We're gonna see the fans come on here pretty soon. 85 and 90. So we're not gonna see them come on until 85. And we are gonna hope when we're up there at 85 or at 77, the thermostat would start to open around the same time. More like I think it's a 92 Celsius is stock thermostat, but we put a little bit colder one in there. All right, guys, I'm gonna get back to this and focus on the car, but it's cool that you're here on the first startup, and it looks to be a really healthy initial startup, and everything's going smoothly. We got some little things we'll fix here in the next day or so. Supra. This is a 97 Supra. It's a pretty special project for us at Rad. We shared that with you guys at the very beginning, how special a project it was because it's a relatively untouched 6-speed 97 turbo Supra. Something that you almost wouldn't want to modify, and then he said he wants to build his ultimate dream car, and since we're so passionate about Supras here, and so am I, it's kind of like our dream car as well, and he let us make choices for him based off our opinions on parts that we know that we've tested and we know are like the best parts, and then we would advise him on things like that. Doesn't happen with every customer. This is probably the best overall Supra that we built for a customer over the years. There's been really cool ones, but maybe the budget that Ben had to just kind of do whatever we wanted to do, and this is what we came up with. Let me go over some of the parts and why we did this. I'm just excited to show this finished product. You gotta tell me that you feel the same way. This looks amazing. I'm not a red guy, as you guys know. I'm not that into red, but black and red combo in the engine bay, it's so clean. The outside of the car, even with red, looks really good. It's just simple, tasteful. It's not like he did much to the outside, but we did get that carbon lip. That was hard to find. We finally found it. Little carbon accents, this APR accent, and then this one in there. Just enough. Let's go over some of the parts. Like, we got to use a BorgWarner EFR. That, I guess, is on majority of our cars that we build here. I'd say 9 out of 10. The cool thing about what I'm going to tell you is you can get all these parts on Rad Industries on our website. Literally everything here. We put the Rad 160 alternator, the one that we produced down there. It's got our upper water neck on there. It's got Pro Plus XRP race crimp plumbing and fittings on there, hoses. We were able to put a Hypertune intake manifold, just all the cool things. It's got Hypergates on there, 45s. We made him a custom one of these just because of placement. We needed to make a custom one for that because he still wanted to use his ABS. And then this one has this wire harness on here. And we are going to start mass producing a wire harness for people that are doing updates on their Mark IV Supra and they wanted to switch the ECU, because there's kind of like a gap in the market where there isn't a solid, nice wire harness that's made with Raychem and detailed like that. So we're gonna do kind of a universal for a Mark IV, but also at the same time, it's custom because you might have a different ECU than the next guy. So as you can see, it also has this PWR. CNR kind of merged with PWR a couple years back, so I don't even think they call it CNR so much anymore. They want to be PWR North America, but it's a dual pass, dual electric fan radiator that's much larger than stock, and this thing will keep your Mark IV Supra nice and cold. So we helped design the file with them, and now it's a part that we even sell on our website, so you could check that out if you guys Mark IV Supra guys. This car retains AC and it has this 9174. So this 9174 paired with a stroker motor will hit boost really early, and it should make around 900 at the wheel on its highest setting on E85. Let's talk about the motor a little bit before we show you the inside. It's a Brian Crowder 3.4 lightweight stroker crank, 5309 LW crank, and then it has Carrillo rods, the HD rods, so those are capable of well over what this car will make, like 1800 horsepower probably. I run the same ones in my race car. Then it has custom 10.5-to-1 CP pistons. Exact same ones I run in my Pro Drift car. So he wanted the Pro Drift Car engine, he got the Pro Drift Car engine. It's got GSC S1 cams, it's got conical valve springs, and then it's got standard size valves from GSC, and it has a little porting on the head. You guys are thinking, why didn't you do bigger cams? Because we want this car to be fun to drive and drivability to be like on point when he gets on the gas, so he has very little lag. The turbo will make up for, you know, the top end, where bigger cams would help you have your power band go way out to redline, but they'll also make it really crappy to drive low RPMs. It's not like you're at high RPMs all the time, so if you're not drag racing, you do not need big giant cams. I say this from experience of trying many different things over the years and then driving it on the racetrack, and I always wanted to have instant boost right now. Like, you want it to feel like a V8 but also feel like that turbo pull, so you got to kind of play with the options, and I have found this is a great option for drivability and just torque, mid-range torque and power, and then the turbo will keep your power up all the way to redline. You will lose a tiny bit at the top, but it's a sacrifice for super good drivability. Then check this out, he's got a custom steering wheel. Ooh. Super nice. We even redid the interior, like I told you guys. This is the one I'm gonna be like, oh, I wish we could build like 2 of those every year. It's just not every day that you'll get to find that. So to me, this is a really cool project. Let's hope there's more like this. That's why we're gonna share with you guys. Maybe there's some people out there that, you know, want me to build them their dream Supra and they have the funding to do it, and we could do all these cool parts. And it's not just the parts, it's like our time. You gotta look at like the details in here and see like that we got to use super nice parts. Yes, that some people are just gonna use a silicone vacuum hose here, but we use a crimp -4 fitting with Pro Plus lightweight hose just for the vacuum hose over to your boost solenoid. You've seen us do stuff like this before, but this one is just like, basically I could do as if it was my own race car. It's the details that make the builds pop and come to life. They're memorable when there's all these details. Like, look at these, we got ARP hardware everywhere. You could see it or it'll fit on this car. So the motor is fresh, only started a little bit. We got Torco break-in oil in there. I mean, we're going to go put some miles on it, do the break-in process, then we'll do a little bit of drivability logs, and then we're gonna go hit the dyno. So gotta break in the motor, change the oil out before we go to the dyno. So we have a little bit of driving to do. I'll get that done on my end, and then we'll share probably right before we go to the dyno with you, and then we'll be on the dyno here shortly. But this is the one, guys. Let's just close the hood here and we'll look at it one last time. I'm not a red guy, like I said, but man, that looks good. Yeah, there's a lot of red Supras right here. Big brakes too. I don't know if I like showed you guys that recently. Because if you didn't see the other couple videos we did on this car and you're just coming in now to see it, it's kind of like a mind-blowing clean project. Let's look in the back. It's just simple, clean, amazing. Yeah, like, come on. And then inside there is a BTI gauge, so this will be all stock like normal, but then it's got this little display gauge here that'll tell you all your data that you might want to see. It's just a really cool project. We're thankful to do stuff like this here at the shop, and hopefully there's more. You never know what the future holds. Let's go see if we can make 900 at the wheel. It's gonna make like 890 at the wheel, but maybe we'll make 900. We're gonna drive it under its own power for the first time right now and go see how it feels. We'll let you guys know. Let's go do this.
It's like record faster.
Hey, look at Mark's seat. Now is when we're gonna find out if it rubs or anything. We have to change alignment at all before we can drive it. Looks like it's not rubbing. Have to go down a super bumpy road. All right, I gotta drive. We'll talk to you guys in a bit.